Chevron was founded in 1876 at the Pico Canyon, just north of Los Angeles, California. The company name started out as Pacific Coast Oil Company. In 1894, the company merged with Gulf Oil Company. It was the largest company merge in U.S. history and took on the Chevron name. In 1901, Texaco Gas was founded. 100 years later, in 2001, Texaco Gas and Chevron merged and became the second largest U.S.-based energy company. Chevron has around 65,000 employees worldwide. Chevron generates profit by producing, exploring, supplying, and trading crude oil and natural gas around the world. In 2014 alone, the worldwide net oil equivalent production averaged about 2.6 million barrels of oil a day. Around 26% of Chevron's oil production is here in the U.S., while the other 74% is in 20 different countries. Chevron operates 4,634 miles of U.S. pipeline and has international pipelines in various countries overseas. For the first quarter in 2015, Chevron's net income was $571 million at 30 cents per share. This quarter has been the worst quarter in almost 13 years. Revenue fell to about $40.5 billion from about $58 billion a year ago. For the first quarter in 2014, Chevron's net income was $5.67 billion at $2.98 per share. Chevron vs. Donziger. In 1964, Texaco began drilling in Ecuador, which caused the partnership of Texaco and Petroecuador. In 1990, Texaco stopped its production in Ecuador, leaving Petroecuador as the main oil producer in this region. Texaco spent around $40 million to clean up its share of production sites. A decade passes and Texaco merged with Chevron, taking on the Chevron name. Steve Donziger, an American lawyer, claimed Chevron was responsible for the contamination in Ecuador based on the claims of the loss of crops and farm animals, which increased the local cancer rates in the area. Donziger had no scientific evidence to prove Texaco caused the contamination. The damage was an $18 billion judgment, which was later cut in half to equal around $9.5 billion. Donziger was ready to get his money from Chevron until the fraud started to surface. Chevron then took the case into the U.S., creating its own lawsuit against Donziger for extortion and criminal conspiracy. OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, has an impact on the price of oil. From 2007 to 2014, the average price for an oil barrel was above $100. Current times, the oil barrel price is around $40 to $50. The U.S. has more than enough crude oil and it is running out of places to put it. In the past few months, we have been producing and importing an average of 1 million more barrels of oil daily than what we are consuming. Hydraulic fracturing, also known as fracking, is a technique where shale is fractured by a pressurized liquid to free up natural gas and oil underneath the Earth's surface. Natural gas from shale has risen 30 times since 2000. Fracking comes with many risks. Chevron will need to pay highly close attention to the surface operations of the shale gas opportunity, being very cautious that the steel pipes and casings are well built and not leaking, and the cement around the area does not have any cracks. Liability is a huge role in this case. In some cases around the U.S., fracking has caused contamination in water. Some of the tap water has turned bubbly and flammable. This can cause major lawsuits to be performed against Chevron if they do not precisely go about the legal hydraulic fracturing methods. Although not proven, geologists did a study on connecting earthquakes and natural disasters to fracking. The U.S. is beginning to figure out the dangers of drilling deep into the earth. Between the years of 1967 and 2000, a steady rate of approximately 21 earthquakes per year with a movement magnitude of 3.0 or greater happened in the central U.S. From 2001 to present time, when shale gas began to rapidly grow, the rate of the same magnitude earthquakes rose to about 100 per year. Chevron is beginning to move to recycled wastewater for the use of fracking. Currently, oil companies are using billions of gallons of fresh water annually to successfully obtain shale gas. With a steady drought depleting the water supply around the fracking areas in the U.S., the pressure to develop a more cost-efficient and environmentally efficient process for the oil companies is increasing. Chevron needs to develop and critique a legal method to use recycled wastewater in the process of fracking. It is estimated that around 10 to 20% of the water used from certain plants for fracking is recycled, with that number expected to double within the next decade. Chevron is known to be an outstanding oil and gas company. They have integrated technology into their industry to help maximize the most amount of revenue possible. It is continuing to grow and help people around the world. The liabilities for any major oil company are endless. There's a lot more to it than protecting the environment and providing oil to the world. Preventing oil spills, cleaning up their hazardous waste the legal and correct way, and spending millions of dollars on research to make the company excel are all risks and liabilities.